President Putin has now finally met with Korean Supreme Leader, as he's called, Kim Jong Un, and this has been at the Vostochny Space Center, and the two leaders have been covering an agenda that would have seemed unthinkable until just a couple of years back. Mighty Russia now needs military support from North Korea to wage its flailing and even failing war against Ukraine. The Russians have not said so officially, not in so many words, and in any case, what either country says officially does not always say a lot. Putin said that the two leaders were discussing all issues, and Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has said the countries would engage in sensitive areas and those would not be made public. Not a lot of guessing is needed there. Kim said, on the other hand, that we will always support the decisions of President Putin, and we will be together in this fight against imperialism. The two leaders clearly did not get together to agree on broad statements and broad sentiments. What tells us a lot is the passenger list on the train that took Kim from Pyongyang to this meeting. The list says what the leaders want. It includes the North Korean defense minister, the head of defense production, the head particularly of munitions production in North Korea. For Putin to have traveled a long way to the far east of Russia for this meeting with Kim at that space center, which is not far from the North Korean border, signals very clearly that mighty Russia is not in a great place keeping up with this war that it had launched last year. The war clearly is what this is about. Russia is very likely looking to source ammunition, particularly artillery shells and rockets from North Korea. Defense Minister from Russia, Sergei Shoigu, visited Pyongyang in July to discuss military supplies. He was taken around to factories, clearly in preparation for this meeting now between Kim and Putin. Quite a change that we are seeing. Back in the Korean War of the early 1950s, it was the Soviet Union of then that armed North Korea in that war. Who would have guessed then, or a long time since, that Russia will be looking to North Korea for help, fighting with its back to the wall and sending a SOS to North Korea for urgently needed ammunition. Russia has been pushed back in this war from Kiev, from Kherson, from Kharkiv. It's lost more than half the land it captured after the invasion. It is now unable to defend its own airspace. One drone attack after another is breaking through, and it is now short of shells and rockets to defend itself on the ground. Enter Kim. But the meeting could yet bring lethal consequences. North Korea may not count for a lot politically, maybe just a bad name in the world politically for most of the world, but for it to give Russia shells and rockets could yet influence the way the war goes. Iranian Shahid drones have been a factor already in the Ukraine war, and these were produced and are produced by just one company in Iran, Shahid Aviation. North Korea, on the other hand, clearly would look to extract its prize. It is looking for assistance with launching satellites. It's not had a lot of success there. It has developed long-range missiles for which it needs yet more support. Theoretically, some of these could reach the US. It's not likely they will ever do so, of course. If Russian missiles launched into neighboring Ukraine can almost all be intercepted, a North Korean missile is unlikely to reach the US. But then in this game, just one thing has to go wrong for so much to go wrong.